Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you guys to meet. This here is Khai West. He is a defensive back out of Minnesota State-Mankato. Nice to have you today, sir.
Nice to be here. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, I appreciate having you. Also, I feel like you're a prospect that a lot of people need to get to know. Very successful these past, couple seasons. Been first team all conference. Has the speed to take it to the house when he gets his hands on the ball. So let's go ahead and get going, man. Introduce yourself and let's get started.
Yep, like you said, my name is Khai West, senior defensive back out of Minnesota State, hometown St. Paul, Minnesota, and 2025 NFL prospect.
Cool, man. So let's go ahead and paint the picture of you as a prospect and I guess get the early stuff out of the way. So how long actually have you played football?
I've been playing tackle football since I was 5 years old. It's kind of a funny story. They used to try to get my dad in trouble because I was the smallest guy out there. He started me too early, so I've been playing up pretty much my whole life. I was 5 years old playing with third graders, so a
Gotcha.
long time
So
here.
I'm assuming you've probably played both sides of the ball.
Yep.
I know when I was looking back at you and you're like I tried to look up your huddle, they actually had you listed as a wide receiver and a free safety.
hmm
So it's kind of neat. I mean, I'm assuming that you've played both ways. It's kind of interesting, man. Like, were you? I don't know. Did you get any looks as a possible wide receiver when you were being recruited, or what?
Actually, no. So kind of a funny story. Two reasons I stopped playing wide receiver. The first one is I used to go to camps and then I would look over at the wide receiver side and it'd be 100 kids there. And I look over at the defensive side, it's only like 10, 15 DBs. So there was one day my dad just said, yeah, go ahead and go play defense. We're not about to sit here and wait all day. And the
Hey,
second reason is,
that's good. That
yeah, you
works.
know what I mean?
Keep
Second
going.
reason is my best friend, God bless his soul. He was a superstar wide receiver back in high school. So he pretty much got all the carries and all the love on offense, and I just held it down for us on defense. And then ever since then, I just roll with it.
Hey, man, it's worked well for you. You ended up playing at St. Paul Central there in St. Paul, Minnesota,
Yes, sir.
and along with some football, did a little bit of basketball back in the day, man. Talk a little bit more about you as a high school athlete before we continue.
Yeah, so I didn't get the chance to play my junior year. Got caught up in some transfer stuff. Um, But I did play junior year basketball, senior year basketball, and senior year football as well. But for me, it was all about just having fun. I always knew my path in life was to be a football player. Like basketball, I just only reason I really played is because I was so good at defense. So being the defensive stud that I was on the field actually helped me get on the court and be able to start junior and senior year for basketball too.
Cool. And just briefly again, before you got to high school, did tad bit of wrestling
Oh
too.
yeah. My
Um,
dad started me off wrestling. It was football and wrestling. I didn't even get to play basketball until about sixth grade. So that I guess that helps me now in the long run too. When I make tackles and stuff, I always revert back to those wrestling ways.
I suppose. I mean, when you're thinking of things like grip strength, just overall leverages or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, sometimes that might help. But cool. So, out of high school, you actually end up going to Laney College, which is a junior college. Talk to us a little bit about the early days of you developing as a college player. Playing at Laney.
Yeah. Well, actually, before I got to Laney, I went to Itasca Community College. Fresh out of high school in 2019, and
Okay.
then 2020 was COVID. So everyone was out of school. And then I got the opportunity by a family friend to go out and try out for the Laney team. And, when I got out there to California, they kind of liked what they saw. So they gave me an opportunity. And so I got out there 2021, spring of 2021. My first year, I redshirted. There was like 6 or 7 guys, all with 1 year left coming back from that COVID year.
Mm.
So the coaches basically broke it down to me like, I mean, you can play if you want to, but if you just redshirt, come back next year, you'll be the man, you'll be the starter. So I had trust in them, and they held their word. So I came back again in 2022 and started every game for them. I got honorable mention all conference. But it was really pretty much just a great experience being able to go out to California. Made so many bonds and so many relationships that still hold strong to this day. So being out there was also just like a great experience for me to grow as a man as well, because California JUCO life isn't like everyone else's JUCO life. So I had to really learn how to get it out the mud, as they so to say. So I really appreciate that too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously had to go JUCO, kind of like those stories you see with the Second Chance U,
Yep.
where it is not for the faint of heart. It is
No, sir, not at
JUCO.
all.
They put you through the ringer, but you definitely took full advantage of it, putting yourself in a position where you could make a jump from
Hmm.
there to Minnesota State-Mankato. Talk about that transition, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it was actually pretty nice. When I got the offer from Mankato, clearly, everyone wants to go D1, but that's not everyone's route. But being able to come back home and play for Mankato, that was a great thing for me. I've never played at other than my first year. I've never been able to play at home. Other than high school, so I was away for 2, 3 years. And so being able to come home, was just a great thing for me. I had at the time I had a newborn. He was probably about 6 months, 5, 6 months at the time. So being able to come back, be closer to him, help out a lot more with my family, that was a big plus for me. And then, just being able to go from junior college and experience what it's like to be at a university. That was a big thing for me. I loved it. The coach Hoffner and the staff at Minnesota State, they welcomed me in with open arms. Pretty much just showed me how things are supposed to be done. I'm very grateful for them.
Yeah, and I know sometimes people, I don't know, maybe they knock Division two, but
Hmm.
if you do happen to go Division two, Minnesota State Mankato, probably one of the best ones if we're being
Yep.
honest about it. That team, that institution, they're always in the mix when we're looking about championships, always putting themselves in good position in the playoffs. Just kind of nice to be part of that program. I just want to throw that out there for people. They are really not too far removed from being in the national title picture. And even this past year, man, y'all came very close
Yeah. Yeah. One
to
game
getting
away
there.
from being there. Yep.
But hey, man, you have had a very respectable year there at Minnesota State Mankato. Even coming in your first year in 2023, you were named NSIC Newcomer of the Year. A lot of great things, first team all conference as well. A lot of great moments that first year, and then of course following that up again this past season, being named first team all conference again. So hey man, I got to give you a little bit of credit for what you were able to accomplish there these past couple seasons.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that for sure.
Sure. So let's talk about you as a player, as an athlete. Obviously, I had introduced you as defensive back. Talk a little bit about that defense there at Mankato and kind of how you fit in over there.
Yeah. At Mankato, last year, I'll say my junior year instead of saying last year. My junior year, I came in. I kind of played both sides, meaning field and boundary, depending on what was going on. Towards the end of the year, I started to become just field corner, and then my senior year, I was just straight field corner the whole season. So I played the wide side of the field, um, pretty much every snap, every game. So I feel like just being able to be over there, giving my team, my coaches, everyone the confidence that they're not gonna throw to this side, they're not gonna run to this side. They're not, most games they didn't even look to my side. So just shutting that field down, shutting that half of the field down, that was my main goal, my main mission every snap.
Yeah, Kai, one of the things that I feel really helps you as a prospect is we're looking at a guy with some fairly decent versatility there in the secondary. I know you've played some free safety, some nickel, obviously during your time there at Mankato, played a lot of corner, as you had mentioned, both
Hmm.
field and boundary. But the other thing, of course, man, you're a pretty damn good special teams guy. And I'm
Yes,
not,
sir.
I mean, I know that you have returned some kicks every once in a while, but that's not even what I'm referring to, man. Like you are an animal out there on special teams.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I just really take pride in special teams. Always coming in. My dad always told me, we never come off the field. So it doesn't matter whether it was kickoff, kick return, punt. I got to be able to make a play. And then growing up, in junior college, my freshman year, I didn't get to play DB how I wanted to. So the only way I was able to get onto the field was to be the fastest, be the most tenacious person on the kickoff team, on the punt team. Trying to make the best blocks I can on the return teams so I'm able to give myself the opportunity to play defensive back. And, I just started carrying that on through the rest of my college career. And each year I just got better and better on special teams. I would say that's how I started.
Awesome. So, Kai, I wanted to walk through a couple of moments, couple of games with you, if you don't mind. Just so that we can highlight a lot of what you've been able to do there for Mankato. 2023, you had 5 interceptions.
Sure.
So I want to talk about one of them, and I know which one and I know you know which one I want to talk about,
For
and that
sure.
is the one that you took the entire distance of the field.
Yes, sir.
So talk to me about that one interception you had. I think it was Western
Western
Oregon.
Oregon. Yes, sir.
Go for it.
It- It's actually a pretty funny story. So, that whole drive, I was cramping up so bad. So I come off the field, I'm like on hands and knees. I'm telling the trainer, I'm like, I don't think I can go back in. I think it was like I think it was like the fourth quarter. I'm like, I cannot go back in. Like it was so bad. But then they throw a bomb. They about to score. I just pop up, run on the field, sub my guy out. And so we were in corner over. We had Trey Vavel. He was down, pressed up on the slot, and I was back. I was supposed to be pressed up, but I'm telling him, man, I can't press right now, bro. I'm cramping like so bad. One of the worst cramps I ever caught in my life. Full body cramps. And then, the guy, he tries to run a post on me. I stayed inside leverage. I just look up. Ball was just right there. I just jumped up, reached up one hand, snagged it out of the air with one hand, and my teammates pretty much did the rest for me. I just was running. They were out there blocking, throwing blocks. My boy Cody Brown, that boy at least 270 running with me down the field, making blocks all the way down the field. So I gotta tip my hats off to my teammates for sure for helping me get there. I couldn't have done that by myself at all. And then, just God willing, I was able to make a crazy play.
It's funny because I mean, play like that, it's almost as if like it was a punt return or
Mm-hmm.
something. Where you have to rely on a lot of guys around you to make the plays like
Yep.
like you had mentioned. Obviously wanted you to talk about that one. As I was trying to do a little bit of research as to a lot of the great moments and highlights, the one thing that I came across was a 2-point conversion. And I was thinking to myself, this guy doesn't play offense. And so I was trying to figure this out, man. So found out that you'd blocked an extra point against
Yep.
Duluth.
Yep.
So walk me through that game, man. This was this past season.
Yep. Yeah, that was last game of the year. Duluth, Minnesota State games. Those are always the big ones, big rivalry games. They were getting after us a little bit, and I just felt like, we just needed to play, right? We needed to play right then and there. Me and my teammates, the other corners, we practice religiously. Coach Alexander's practice religiously, blocking field goal situations, and then I just timed that thing up so perfect. And as soon as I timed it up, I got back there. I kind of shied to myself when it got close to the ball, and blocked it, and the thing just bounced like the football gods just bounced it perfectly into my hands, and it was history after that. No one was catching me after that. So
And so it was kind of similar to the previous year where
yeah,
you got the ball in your hand and you're taking it to the house, man.
yeah,
And that's how you end up with the 2-point conversion, of course,
sir.
obviously, blocking their extra point and
Mm-hmm.
then giving you guys a couple of points.
Yep.
Obviously fell short in that game, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. But bro, if we are looking at this past season, you guys actually had a pretty decent outing when you're
Yeah.
looking at the win-loss column. Ended up 11-4. with a lot of good games. The one game that I wanted to next draw our attention to was a revenge game against Augustana. Obviously, during regular season, you guys, fell to them, but again, playoffs are happening. You guys are going deep in the playoffs, and they just happen to be in y'all's way.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk a little bit about what it was like to get the revenge on those guys?
Oh yeah. So they beat us junior year, they beat us twice, regular season, and then they beat us in the playoffs. Then we come back again, then they beat us again in the regular season. So that game for a lot of guys, it was we weren't losing to them 4 times in a row, I'll tell you that much. That was just the big thing going all week. We're not losing to these guys 4 times in a row. Everyone was dialed in all week. Everyone was locked in. I mean, we never really felt like they were the better team, so to speak. We just weren't putting our best foot forward each time we played them. Then we got out there, defense really stepped it up big that game. And then to close it off, we kick an onside field goal. I mean, it's an onside field goal, onside kick, get that thing back. And then my boy Matty Ice, he goes down, hits the game winner. So everything was just clicking that game. Everyone was just doing their job and we ended up being able to come out with the win. So that was huge, huge for us. That's probably one of the most exciting times, exciting football games I've ever been a part of.
Awesome. And a lot of great games this past season. You
Yeah,
guys came like this close. You guys ended up going to the semifinals.
yeah,
Certainly couldn't get to the big game, but
yeah,
you guys were in the mix.
yeah,
If we're being honest about it, I mean, you guys could have gotten there. Maybe you were just that close.
yeah.
Um, so as obviously you're moving on to bigger and better things. Um, who's going to be there at Minnesota State to carry the torch and hopefully be there again next season?
They got a lot of young guys. I'll speak, offense and defensively. Offensively, we got Trayshawn Watson coming back, stud wide receiver. He's gonna definitely make a lot of, turn a lot of eyes on him. Who else? We got Sam Backer, running back. He just won Offensive Newcomer of the Year this past season. So he's going to be coming back. We got offensive line guys. We always got a good offensive line over there. So, Coach Henning really does his thing. Um, and then on the defensive side, we got Jamal Spy, number 2 safety, was his first season last year. I'm pretty sure, not pretty sure, I'm positive, he understands the system now. He's going to be real comfortable in what he's doing. Then also on the edge, you got Edmund Okanti playing corner. So, he's another lockdown corner. He started most of the games for us last year. And then the D line, we got Caleb Paulus coming back. He's a stud D lineman. He's going to get his time to finally shine without, having to worry about playing behind another All American stud like Maven Crutchy. So I'm excited to see what those guys do this year for sure. But they definitely got a lot of guys that are coming to fill those spots.
Yeah, I mean, Mankato's always got a good, roster.
Hmm.
So definitely something to, look forward to next season. Obviously, man, you yourself, moving on, we are now looking at you as an NFL prospect. Has it sunk in yet that you're an NFL prospect? I mean, that maybe some NFL teams might be giving you that opportunity. What's going through your mind these days?
I wouldn't necessarily say sunken yet, but it's definitely becoming more and more of a reality. Like, even being here to do an interview with you, talking about me being an NFL draft prospect, like it's just crazy to me to be able to be in this position. I'm just so blessed. Not a lot of people where I'm from, out of St. Paul, they don't get this opportunity to even let alone go to college. You feel me? Make it now. I've made it through college, and I'm trying to make it to this next step. So I'm just, taking it all in. I got a son. I'm just trying to set a great example for him. So when it's his time, if he does decide to go down the sports route, he has a pretty good role model to follow after.
Cool. So, Kai, what you doing now, man? What are you doing as you're preparing for pro day and such?
I'm up in the cities. I'm back in my hometown. I'm training with TNT Academy. I got my trainer TJ Dean. He's a stud trainer. He trained guys like Hollywood Brown. He trained Rashad Bateman for his pro day. So he got some pretty good experience. He pretty much knows what he's doing. Other than that, just I've got me a personal chef now. I'm trying to take my nutrition serious. So I get meals made for me every day. Working out every day, just trying to be in the best shape that I can be to put myself in the best position for this upcoming draft.
Gotcha. So for the next few months, no junk food, I guess.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely
So
not.
Um, cool. So, obviously, man, had a chance to meet you as a football player, put together a very solid career. I do want to get a chance to meet the guy under the helmet, if you don't
Sure.
mind. You've shared a little bit about yourself, but I'm just
Sure.
kind of curious if you, want to share even more. Maybe some hobbies, any fun facts or special talents, or anything else about yourself that you want people to know. Tell me a little something.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I got a son. He's 2. He'll be 3 next month, March 18th. Got his 3rd birthday coming up. Can't wait for these terrible twos to be over. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm just a dad. I also help out with I mentioned earlier, my best friend, he passed away to gun violence a few years ago. So he has a scholarship fund back at my high school. We raise money throughout the whole year for his fund. And then we pick 5 African American athletes from our school and we give them $5,000 scholarships to help them with the fundings that they may need for college, whether that's tuition, dorm stuff, food, transportation, anything that they may need. We give them money for that. So we're going on our 3rd year doing this now. So that's another big thing I like to do. And other than that, other than being a dad, I just sit in the house and I play my game. I like to stream on Twitch. Other than and yeah, that's
Gotcha.
pretty much me. I'm pretty
Um,
basic.
uh, the uh, the foundation that you had mentioned, if people are interested and maybe want to perhaps give to that, how can they find that information?
It's called the Dion Ford Scholarship Fund. You just type that into Google, and it'll pop right up. We have a GoFundMe page that we raise funds off of. Then we're in the process of making him a website so that we can become more official with that. But yeah, that's pretty much if you have anyone has any questions or anything like that, you can find me on social media. Reach out, email my high school, St. Paul Central High School, and they'll definitely get back to you about that.
Cool, man. Love that you're giving back with that.
Yes, sir.
Want to also maybe throw some, I don't know, some corny fun questions your way. I mean, just to get a little have a little fun with it.
Yes, sir.
So you had mentioned you have a kid, and
hmm
so where I typically turn is like things like cartoons.
Yep.
So what was your favorite cartoon growing up, man?
My favorite cartoon, I really liked Looney Tunes. I was a big Looney Tunes guy. And I also really like Batman a lot, but not the regular Batman. I don't know if many people have seen it, but it's like I forget the name. It's like the Arkham Batman. He like had the slick black suit with the red bat across his chest. That was the Batman I like.
There's a few different ones that have
hmm
been made, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely interesting. Takes me back a little bit because obviously, yeah, I'm a little older, so I remember those days.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
cool. So, see if I can maybe ask a couple more. Obviously, you have a personal chef, of
Yes, sir.
course, right now.
Yes, sir.
But what's your favorite home cooked meal?
Oh, my favorite home cooked meal. That's a tough question right there. I don't know if I could pick one. Let's see. Okay, I got one. So my favorite all time. Okay, I got a couple things that go on this meal right here. It's not just one thing. So
Good
I
man, hit me.
like uh I like yams. You know what yams are? Okay, so I like yams. Then you gotta have mac and cheese with the yams. That's like the perfect combo right there. Man, that thing's chef's kiss. So we gotta have the yams, gotta have the mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying? Then we got on the side, we got cornbread. And then my dad's fried chicken. I don't know how he does it. I don't know where he learned the recipe, but his fried chicken that when he makes it, when he really wants to make it, he's not being lazy. Fire. They eat it every day.
Awesome. Definitely holding out a little bit until after your pro day to really enjoy something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
None of that. None of those
but
fried foods. None of that.
no, I know I get you, but definitely sounds good. Also, I wanted to give your family a shout out. Of course, some people that obviously have helped feed
hmm
you,
Oh yeah.
as you've grown throughout the
Yes
years.
sir.
Um, See if I can ask you one more question here. Bucket list vacation. What would that be for you? For a guy who really hasn't traveled too far outside of your JUCO time, what would
Yep.
be your I guess dream vacation?
My dream vacation, I want to go to Bora Bora. That is like my ultimate bucket list vacation. If I can just go to Bora Bora, I don't even need to be there a long time. Give me a couple days out there. I just want just waking up out there on that island, man. That would be crazy. Hopefully everything, God willing, I'm able to put myself in a position where I can afford something like that.
Well, I mean, that's obviously what we're trying to accomplish here,
Yes,
man. I mean,
sir.
we're talking as obviously a guy who wants to, make it, get to the league.
Hmm.
Um, who do you think is the best at what they do at your position in the NFL right now? Who would you say is like the best corner, DB, or however you see yourself transferring to the next level?
Yeah. The best corner who I really look up to and I really try to model my game after, even though it's kind of hard because this guy's a stud, but we Pat Surtain. He's really just a lockdown corner. I love the way he plays. I love his, his mentality about how he goes about things. He's not always in the media. He's not always he just, he just comes out every Sunday and does his job. And then
Business.
safety wise, yeah, business, straight business. Safety wise, Derwin James. Love Derwin James style of play. I try to bring his physicality and I try to put that in my game. Every snap, if I can just play, a little bit like him with that physicality and that toughness that he brings to help his team, I feel like I'd be putting myself in a pretty good position.
Cool. Obviously, with the desire to play alongside those guys, man, I
Yes,
want to
sir.
go ahead and close up our time. Go ahead and talk to all the doubters out there who, I don't know, want to know whether or not this guy is going to make it. And then, of course, to some of the scouts out there and tell them what makes you a good prospect in this upcoming draft. So, close with your final thoughts. All right.
All right. Well, to answer the first part, anyone that's doubted me, anyone that's, hating on me, so to speak, you just gotta look at how far I've come. Like you said, I started JUCO. Before that, I came out of St. Paul, Minnesota, St. Paul Central. Um, not a lot of guys would even think to be able to keep pushing through, keep persevering. Along the way, I also had a son, and I still kept going. And then not only did I have a son, when I came back to Minnesota State, my son lived with me full time. So not only was I a full time student, I was a full time dad, and I was a full time athlete. So that just leads me into my second answer would be with the scouts. They take a chance on me. You're getting a guy who is very dedicated, very serious, and really wants this thing bad, not only for himself, but for my son. Really everything I do is for him. And on top of that, besides the man I am, football player, you can just once again, you can just check my stats. You can go check my film. You know, um, I might not be the most sound player, as they try to say, but if you check my film, I'm gonna make a play. I've made a play every single game of my entire life. We're going from junior year with 5 picks to the senior year, they don't even want to throw the ball my way. So, like I said, I'm just a bona fide playmaker in my eyes, a bona fide athlete, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say.
Yeah, we talked about some of those plays that you were talking about.
Hmm.
A big time playmaker who can be that shutdown corner. Also has versatility in that secondary if need be to
Sir,
play some other position, but also,
sir,
man, a fantastic special teams guy who can come
sir.
in and immediately contribute and day one, just kind of change the outlook of your team. So, Khai, I know you're busy, you got a lot going on, and want to wish you all the best moving forward. Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. Once again, I got Khai West, defensive back, Minnesota State Mankato. Check him out.